Welcome to Rick Renegade's Metal Collection. This is Shuffle of Death, Episode 9, and we got some interesting ones for you and a few that my phone loves to pick a lot. So, either way, I'm starting to question the legitimacy of the shuffle button. But anyway, the first thing we're going to talk about, and I kind of questioned this one when it chose it, whether I should actually use it for this, but it's still considered glam metal, even though it's kind of a hard rock, 80s hard rock type of thing. But we got Tesla Mechanical Resonance. No, this is not Elon Musk, the album. Their name actually was inspired by Nikola Tesla. I finally looked that up to see if there was a connection, and it's true. This came out in 1986, the year I was born. It gets a 3.60 on Rate Your Music. It's not included on Metal Archives. I guess it's not considered heavy metal there, but I think it's metal enough to include personally. This is their first album. So, I'll be honest, I like a lot of the stuff on here, but about half of the material here is kind of like teenage girl music, you know, like stuff that guys wrote to appeal to teenage girls. I mean, a lot of glam is kind of like that, really. Even though I do like some of it, I'm not a huge glam guy, but if there's good albums and music and, you know, songs, yeah, of course, I'll listen to it. There actually is a lot of talent in a lot of those bands. But really what got me started on Tesla in general was Grand Theft Auto Vice City in the early 2000s. So B-Rock used to play Coming At You Live, and I remember just driving around, running over people, listening to these songs, and, you know, a lot of songs I actually got stuck in my head. I ended up buying the albums of these bands just because of that game. And Coming At You Live is one of those songs, and sadly, it is the best song of this album, in my opinion. Like, nothing really compares. It's the most metal and the most interesting. But I'll be honest, a lot of the songs are still good, though, when they're not trying to be little teenage girl music. But still a pretty good album. Not one of my favorites of all time, but if I had to give it a rating, I would probably give it... I'd probably give it like a 65 to 70%. So it's not bad, just not amazing. Next, Warrant from Germany, a speed metal band. No, this is not the Warrant that sings about cherry pies and stuff like that. No, this is a much, much better Warrant. So this came out in 85, the first album, and that's the one that my phone chose, and it's called The Enforcer. Came out in 85, gets an 83% on Metal Archives, which personally I think is unfair. I think I would give this album more of a 92 or 93%. Yeah, that's probably about right. And that's their first album. And unfortunately, I got it on a 2-in-1. That's the best I could do because this thing was out of print. I'm assuming it still is. So, hey, you got to get what's available, right? This is really just really raw, dirty, no frills speed metal. It's kind of funny because there's really nothing about this album, about this band that really sets itself apart from other speed metal bands. It's just their delivery is good. Like, it's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of bands that kind of, you know, have a sound that I can kind of explain a little better, but this is just pure, simple speed metal fun. There's nothing wrong with that. And the production's good. It's got a nice, good, beefy sound on it, but raw enough to where it sounds a little messy, but not so raw where you can't hear what's going on, or it doesn't hurt the sound. It actually just adds to the aggression and fun of it. And not all songs are pure speed metal. Some of them are a little more just mid-pace, heavy metal songs. It's very good. I totally recommend this. It's a classic. So get Warrant, The Enforcer. Next. My phone loves this band. What? This is the third time. Falconer. This is the third time it's chosen a Falconer album. And this is Chapters from a Veil Forlorn. It came out in 2002. Gets 89% on Metal Archives, which I would bump it up to probably a 97 or 98 myself. And this is their second album. It's not quite as like fast and in your face as like the debut Falconer album, but this one's got really good choruses and just the vibe and atmosphere is just great. Still medieval, still very just, you got Matthias Blatt on vocals, who's just one of the greatest singers of all time. It's just Falconer at its best, really. I mean, I always say the first three albums are the Falconer albums. I think they had the most magic in those three albums, like a lightning in a bottle sort of moment. But yeah, I totally recommend this. Really, any Falconer album's good, but the first three, it's a must. I don't got much else to say about it because I've already talked about Falconer a lot. So anyway, next, and here's another one my phone's starting to like. Rata Blanca again. But at least we're picking different albums here. I won't do a repeat of the same album. So far, it's not done that. It's not picked the same albums of anything twice, which is pretty impressive. But I do love this band, though. This was recommended to me by some people out there that watch my channel, and they were right. Very good band from Argentina, sung in Spanish, which I think is kind of cool because I think it's interesting to hear native languages in my metal. I don't know. I don't need to know what they're saying. I probably don't want to know, honestly. This came out in 91. Gets a 92% on Metal Archives, which that's somewhat fair. I could probably give it a 95, though. And this is their third album. So really all the Rata Blanca albums kind of have a certain distinct sound, but what I can say is it's not as neoclassical as the two albums before, but it's also not as chunky and straight up heavy as the album after it. So it's kind of a good blend in between, but I can assure you all the songs are brilliant, very, very good. The whole thing is good. There's some soft moments on here where I will say they're my least favorite, because if it's something's going to be soft, it's got to be dang good for me, and it's the only thing I might call skippable. But really everything on here is good. Like, there's nothing I would consider bad. So Rata Blanca, a freaking classic, great musicianship. Give it a shot. You won't be disappointed. Next, last and certainly but not least, Savatage, Poets and Madmen. So this came out in 01. Gosh, it's a long time ago since we've had a Savatage album. 72% on Metal Archives. Not fair whatsoever. I'll explain that. And I think I counted this was their 11th album, so hopefully I didn't miscount. So, okay. It's definitely heavier than the 90s Savatage. Okay? It's got John Oliva singing again. So no Zach Stevens. He sounds great. The only thing that's weird is I kind of wish he would go back up into the upper register of his vocals sometimes and do the higher notes. He doesn't. He kind of keeps it lower. I just feel like he kind of holds back a little bit vocally, but he still sounds good and it fits the music really well. Nothing wrong there. It's still got that rock opera thing. As a matter of fact, I think the album is indeed a concept album. Something about people that go into an insane asylum and something happens. I don't know the story, but it's very, very good. Of course, John Oliva does a lot of the piano stuff. Very cool. It incorporates in the music very, very well. Great rock opera type of sound for sure. Every song is actually pretty dang good. Everything's memorable. I mean, there might be a couple tracks you might skip, but honestly, I like this. So I don't know what's up with the low score. For some odd reason, though, it is one of the least listened to by me, but I think it's more because it's like the last album that they've done, and this band has gone through so much that, like, just so much sad things have happened to this band that it almost makes me sad listening to it, because I know it's the last one that they've done in over 20 years. Now, John Oliva did say, I watched an interview once of him saying he did want to put out one more Grand Savatage album and call that a farewell album, but we're still waiting on that. I hope he does it, but there's still a lot of good stuff on here, and the album is about an hour and 6 minutes or something like that, and I got one bonus track, which I'm not sure, but I think that is Zach Stevens singing on that one. Don't quote me on that, but kind of sounded like it. But yeah, I don't know. So really, I don't like super long albums, but the fact that since we haven't had one in so long, we'll take as much material as we can get, because there's just not much left. I mean, he did go off to do John Oliva's Pain, which is kind of like a continuation of this sort of thing. But yeah, this whole Sabotage banner though, yeah, it's been a long, long time. But you know, we've lost Chris Leva and Paul O'Neill and stuff like that. So it's, yeah, a lot of sad stuff. But anyway, that's really all I got to say. And I for a rating, I would probably give this. I would honestly give this like a 93 to 95%. Honestly, it's dang strong. I need to listen to it more. Honestly, I don't. I need to just get over my hangups. But anyway, if you like this video, like and subscribe. This was a very fun one. It seems like this series is still doing pretty good. I don't know. It's like it's just consistent. It gets consistent views, so I'll just keep on doing it. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. I'll listen to some more metal, and so do you. You should too. And stay metal. See ya.